Condensation, mould and damp awareness. Across North Tyneside Council, we aim to raise awareness of condensation, mould and damp amongst all our staff and tenants. We have adopted a proactive approach to identify and tackle condensation, mould and damp, as well as supporting and educating tenants to understand what they can do to reduce these issues. This in turn helps us to ensure our properties are safe and comply with legislation and reduce complaints and disrepair claims. Damp and mould poses a risk to anyone's health and should always be acted on quickly. This has been highlighted in recent years following the death of a 2-year-old boy. AWAB's law is part of the biggest government reform affecting social housing in a decade. An inquest into AWAB's death found that his death was directly linked to his exposure to mould in a flat. As the coroner's ruling into AWAB's death makes plain, landlords must take residents' concerns about health and safety seriously. The government has now set out new guidance on the health and safety risks of damp and mould for landlords. The Housing Act of 2004 states that properties must be free from hazards at the most dangerous Category 1 level, as assessed using the Housing Health and Safety Rating System, a risk-based evaluation tool. This includes mould and all types of dampness. HHSRS assesses 29 different hazards that are found in the home, from damp and mould to structural collapse. The Homes Fitness for Human Habitation Act of 2018 requires that properties are free of hazards, including damp and mould, which are so serious that the dwelling is not reasonably suitable for occupation in that condition. The Environmental Protection Act of 1990 gives tenants and local councils powers to take legal action where homes contain a statutory nuisance, which includes where they are in such a state as to be prejudicial to health. To be a statutory nuisance, the damp and mould must be harmful to the health of the tenant or a nuisance. To meet the Decent Home Standard, social housing must be free from dangerous Category 1 hazards. But the Decent Home Standard also states that social housing must be in a reasonable state of repair and provide a reasonable degree of thermal comfort. Either disrepair or inadequate thermal comfort, or both, may result in damp and mould. There are 4 main causes of damp and moisture: condensation, penetrating damp, traumatic damp and rising damp, of which condensation is the most common. Condensation happens when moisture generated inside the home cools and condenses onto cooler parts of the building, for example window frames, corners and low points on walls behind sofas or wardrobes. This is the most common form of damp and can lead to mould growth if not addressed. Later in this session, we will give advice on how to reduce and treat condensation in a property. Penetrating damp is water that gets into the building from outside due to defects in the walls, roofs, windows or floors. For example, the picture shown is of a blocked gutter overgrown with weeds, which is causing penetrating damp, resulting in water staining to the ceiling and coving in this property. Traumatic damp can be caused by leaking water from waste and heating pipes, overflowing baths, sinks or burst pipes. It can also originate from outside the property, for example from another building or from environmental flooding. Rising damp is moisture from the ground that rises up through parts of the building in contact with the ground, for example walls and floors. It is usually found in older properties and is often misdiagnosed. The common cause is often due to defective damp-proof courses and membranes. Rising damp will only affect basements and ground floor rooms. It will normally rise no more than 12 to 24 inches above ground level and usually leaves a tide mark low on the wall. Mould is a type of fungus which grows in moist environments. It can cause adverse health effects as well as damage to buildings. Everyone is vulnerable to the health impacts of damp and mould, but people with certain health conditions, for example respiratory problems, are at a greater risk of more severe health impacts. The most common cause of mould growth is condensation. Condensation is the most common form of dampness. Most homes will be affected by condensation at some point. The amount of condensation in a home depends upon three factors: how much water vapour is produced by the action of its residents, how cold or warm the property is, and how much air circulation or ventilation there is. Condensation can be reduced or remedied in many ways. The following helpful tips will provide advice on how to reduce condensation and mould in a property. To prevent mould and remove moisture, dry clothes outside whenever you can, either on a washing line or clothes rail. If you need to dry washing indoors, don't put wet clothes on radiators. Use a clothes rail and open a window. Regularly wipe windows, walls and ceilings whenever there is any condensation to prevent the build-up of mould. Remove black mould by using a suitable cleaner. Ventilation. Allow moisture to escape and use the extractor fan, if you have one, when cooking and showering. Keep a window slightly open to ventilate the room when you are in it. Keep your home warm. Keep the heating on low as much as possible in cold weather, even if you are not home. Use the timer and thermostat to set your heating. This will also help prevent pipes freezing too. When possible, contain moisture. Close the doors to the kitchen and bathroom when they are in use, even if you have an extractor fan, to stop moisture reaching other rooms. Keep pan lids on to stop steam escaping when boiling or steaming food. Let air circulate. Keep furniture away from radiators to avoid blocking out the heat. Leave a gap between furniture and external walls to allow circulation. Avoid putting too many things in wardrobes and cupboards. Vent tumble dryers through an outside wall or window. Never block air bricks, door and window vents. They are needed to provide ventilation. There are many ways in which we are trying to support our tenants. There is a condensation leaflet available, as well as a more detailed booklet which provides advice on how to reduce condensation in your home and how to contact us if the issue persists. The leaflet and booklet are provided to tenants in the new tenant sign-up pack and during tenancy review visits. They are also available on the website or by calling our repairs contact centre. There are also self-help videos and information on the North Tyneside Council website. A reported form will be used by North Tyneside Council staff who enter a council property, meaning any condensation, mould or damp issues can be reported and acted upon. Thank you for watching the video. We hope this advice has been helpful. If you require further information, there is a condensation advice leaflet available on the North Tyneside Council website. If you are a North Tyneside Council tenant and identify condensation, mould or damp in your home, please report it to us immediately on 0345 2000 102.